Osu, Osu, Osu. When you should start playing Osu, it's hard to understand what's going on or find like any logic behind what you're doing, and it's hard to understand how you're supposed to improve at the game. Of course, everyone will tell you the play more kind of thing that everyone says, right? But there's more to it than just that. In Osu, you're just kind of like thrown around into a battlefield and you just play, enjoy, and struggle. And like, of course you eventually improve, even if you don't exactly know how to improve in the most efficient way. But this is gonna change. This is gonna end. Because I, a player that has been playing this game for like almost 9 years and has gone through every single struggle that any Osu player could possibly go through, sucks to say that, but it's true, will give you 15 quick tips and advices that will instantly make you better than 99% of the new player base. So stay until the end because some of them are really, really important. So yeah, this is Shike and let's start. So as I said before, when you just start playing Osu, you're kind of like just thrown around into the battlefield and you don't really know what to do. Of course, you will need to watch some of the basic videos that you can find in YouTube about how to get like the most optimized settings, change your skin, don't play with the default skin. But we're not going to include this in the 15. But yes, it's extremely necessary that you check your skin and that you check your settings before you do anything in the game. And also something that I want to mention that I don't want to include in the 15 things is that Osu Laser is out. Basically, it has been out since forever. I don't know why people say like, oh no, I will move to Laser when it comes out. Like, it already came out a long time ago. So if you want to try it, please feel free to do it. It's actually so good and I recommend it because it's the future of Osu and it's just a client that feels so much better. It just feels like Osu has to be like that. So yeah, please check it out. If you want to try it, I will put the link in the description below. So the first one is something that I wish I did earlier, but I didn't, is try a tablet. If you have the opportunity, if you have the spare money to buy a tablet, just try it, honestly. The earlier you figure out your playstyle is a better time efficiency that you're getting from your playtime. Because think about it, if you spend like 6 months using mouse, but then you're gonna swap to tablet anyways, might as well just have used those 6 months to improve instead, because now you'll have to adjust to the tablet, it takes a while, it feels different, it is different. So honestly, don't think about it twice. Just if you can get a tablet, just try to get it and see how it goes. At the end of the day, you might be switching to mouse again, but you know, at least you tried, but at least you solved something. That tablet could have been extremely massive for you. I could have made everything so much easier. So if it didn't, it's okay. But I can tell you this is definitely better than spending months or like even years with mouse and then realizing that tablet actually suits your playstyle so much better. So going to the next one. Start alternating right away. Again, this is something that if I knew back then when I started, it would have made everything so much easier. It's very likely that you already alternate since it's the normal trend nowadays, but if you do only single tap and you're relatively new to the game, I recommend you to start doing it now. It's hard to get used to it, and personally, when I started getting used to it, I was already like kind of like a highly skilled player, setting like around 300 or 400 PPs, and learning it was a pain in the ass, honestly. It would have been so much easier if I just started like doing that. Because learning how to alternate is harder than learning how to single tap. Single tap is way easier, it's like not very complex, but alternating is. So like if you are single tapping everything that you're playing and you're relatively new to the game, just change to alternating, please. It will save you a lot of headaches later on in the game. So before moving on, I also want to clarify something. Being able to both alternate and single tap will open possibilities that you never thought about before. For example, Ekoro, look at this clip. To hit the triangles, he has to single tap twice and then alternate. And in this way, he can like have better aim control. He's able to like read the triangles better. So yeah, this is something that you shouldn't overlook. And I have felt this before with other type of patterns, and it's just something that happens so much. So yeah, please learn alternating. So I'm not saying that you won't achieve great things or like that you will improve slower if you only single tap, but it's true that it's just something that will help you. At the end of the day, both of them have like pros and cons. And again, this is preference, but even if you do not end up alternating everything that you play and you end up not being an alt player, having that ability is what is important here. So I'm not saying like just switch to full alt right now, but rather I'm saying learn alt. because it's very beneficial. So now for the third one. So when you should start playing Osu, you don't really have a lot of maps, more than like the default maps. So it's very recommended to like download map packs and maps here and there, like songs that you like perhaps. But I just want to ask you one thing. Don't download the mega giant map packs of like 100,000 maps, or like all the ranked maps from like 2007 to 2020, because it's just not good. Why do I say this? Because it will just make your time efficiency worse. One of my clients here in Osu has like all the ranked songs in like Osu history, and if I press F2, I'm most likely gonna get like a game mode that I don't play, or like a map that is extremely old and very low quality. It's like I'm just losing my time here. Like I have higher chances of getting something that is garbage than something that is actually good. So yes, download map packs, download maps that you like, but honestly, instead of like downloading these like huge giant map packs, you can just try to download like training maps instead as well. Those are extremely good to train isolated skills, and I recommend it way more than having just a giant map pack that will just hurt your time efficiency. Yeah, so in a nutshell, big pack bad, small pack good. And in addition to what I just said, the number 4 will be to download a lot of these maps that are training pack, such as like stream practice maps, jump practice maps, burst practice maps, and others. Training different isolated skill sets when you are just starting is not a bad idea actually. Just remember to not leave anything behind, because the maps get richer and richer in skill sets the later you go in the game. But when you're just starting, it's hard to find maps that challenge like everything. So I will leave here a video from Digital Hypno where he explains all the different skill sets in the Osu PhD video. If you haven't watched that already, please watch it right now. But basically, you don't really want to leave any skill behind, because these imbalances will lead to inconsistencies or just as a gameplay that is not very smooth. So now for the 5th one. Don't skip the early stages of the game. Please, I know you like fast maps, I know you like the 4 stars, I know you like the 5 stars, but please don't skip the early stages of the game. The 1 stars, the 2 stars, take some time to practice them, and like I know it gives you anxiety because the circle is not closing and it's very like slow. I know it, but you just have to get used to it. I have been there, and I know that you have to be like very patient and wait for the circle to close and stuff, and the rhythms are like once in a while, and it's hard to like figure out. It's just part of the process of properly learning. And I see something very common, and is that the players that skip these very early stages of the game are the ones that later on they have a lot of problems with accuracy. So if you do not want to have these problems, spend some time trying to assess these maps. The 1 stars, the 2 stars, just take some time before you jump into harder stuff. I'm not telling you here like play 100 hours in your comfort zone, but I'm just telling you like have a foundation and have those very easy fundamentals settled down before you spam 4 and 5 stars all day. Another thing that I want to say is that if you want to specialize on hidden or have plans to do so, you want to start learning hidden now. It's the best time for you to play hidden, because you learn so much from pattern processing with hidden in this very low AR. Not only in the very low AR, but in the very like slow rhythms as well. And if you want to be an HD player, this will make it very easy for the future. Also, another reason you don't want to just rush as fast as possible to the 4 stars, 5 stars, 6 stars is because you will probably be confused at some point, because you don't really know what's your comfort zone. Because in 3 stars you get 80%, because in 4 stars you get like similar AC, in 5 stars you get similar AC. So like, what is my comfort zone? I'm performing the same in all maps. So that's something that shouldn't happen, and the way you avoid this is by playing step by step. At least the first steps you don't want to miss. If 4 stars are way too easy for you and you want to jump to 5, then I think it's a great idea. But if you have the foundation, you have to think about a tree that you're growing. So it has to have the roots, the soil, the trunk. All of that foundation has to be strong enough before the tree starts growing very tall and growing like a lot of branches. So yeah, take your time, try to assess a lot of them. And something that is also really important is don't only play these 1 and 2 star maps with mods. I don't like to see this hard rock plus hidden plus TT, easy and normal maps. It's kind of like you are bypassing these fundamentals. So I'm not saying you shouldn't play them, I'm just saying that you shouldn't only play them like that. So for the 6th is something very quick and simple, but don't play just one type of maps and that's it. Try to be balanced and train other skill sets at the same time. This video by Spasa will probably help you a lot, so I will link it in the description below as well. What I mean is like, don't play only the Soderks or like the Brojek or the jump maps. That's something that is very, very common, and those maps are good to train skill cap and to get better. The problem is when you only do that, right? A very common example that I usually give is if you drink too much water, you're gonna die. But if you don't drink water, you're also gonna die. We want to search for the balance, always the balance. So are farm maps like the jump maps very good to improve? Yes, of course. But if you play them in excess, then you're just gonna end up being very unbalanced. So now for 727, play old maps. Osu is a rhythm game, everyone knows that already. But having a good pattern processing and understanding of awkward rhythms or just playing maps that the timing makes like zero sense can also be very, very beneficial for your accuracy later on. I mean, just take a look at this map. Like, what is this? I mean, I still think I kinda like it because of like the old vibe, but this map is kind of like you're one instrument more here, like playing the song, you know? It's not like you're actually playing the map to the rhythm of the song, you're just one more instrument. You can find some of these old maps in tournaments or in Osu Collector. I will leave the link in the description below, by the way. And if you find one old map, what you have to do is just visit the mapper's profile if you like the style and try to download older maps basically. I recommend you here in the screen some of the old mappers that I really like. And let's jump into the next one. Play multiplayer. Besides the experience of multiplayer being very, very decent, there's a lot of unique and iconic Osu maps that will be very hard to find by yourself. So I really recommend hopping into these random multis, and sometimes you can find a lot of good maps there. Hey guys, by the way, this is Shikke, like days and days and days after last editing this video and last working on this video, but I do want to add something to this, and it's that Digital Hypno on his user page has a map pack to download. Actually, I think he has a few, but there's one like a starter pack that I think will really suit you if you don't have many maps or like you're looking for these iconic maps that I'm talking about, since like it's basically all the maps that he played in his Osu history since he started playing the game. So I think that's a very, very solid way to start with that map pack. I think it's very, very important. So yeah, let's continue with the video. 9. Basically have someone to compete with. So in my personal experience, my country is Uruguay and the community has always been really like united. In the beginning we were all kind of like the same skill level, so we were really competing against each other, but just like friendly competition. I think friendly competition is very, very healthy for improvement in the game, because sometimes when you cannot find motivation within yourself, you can find motivation on other people as well. So I really think that someone that doesn't really talk to anyone, that started also being alone, will have more like struggle finding motivation sometimes to improve. But if you do have people to compete with, then that's gonna be a different story. If you don't really have any friends that play Osu, I recommend you just hopping in multi or hopping in like random Osu Discord servers like Osu Game or Osu University. You can probably find someone to play with there. I also made some friends playing tournaments, so that's also great. So in a nutshell, having friendly competition is another source of motivation, which means you're probably gonna improve more. 10. Play less days but longer sessions. It's better to play like 4 hours in one day than playing 1 hour every day of the week. This is just how Osu works, so it might not be the same for other games, but since Osu is also like a physical heavy game, when you already pass that first hour, like that second hour, you start feeling like you have more like potential, you are more warmed up, you're more like used to the game, so this is when you improve the most. So if you are a tourney player and you are already like kind of advanced in the game, I wouldn't give the same advice, but since you're starting, honestly, the best thing you can do is play stacked hours. Play a lot in one day, and then the next day you can take a break if you want. So for the next one, first of all, play longer maps. I think you have heard this before probably if you come from another video, but most importantly here I want to focus in one thing: avoid retrying and quitting. This is very, very important. And not because like if you retry and you quit, you suddenly become worse. You should do this to deny the frustration. If you start retrying a lot, quitting in the middle of the maps, you're gonna grow a toxic mindset within you. So avoiding this will just help you to have a healthier mindset. If you enjoy the game more, you're most likely to improve. So for the 12, remember what we said about balance? So we come back to it again. Don't always play in either extremes. What I mean is basically don't only play stuff that is really easy for you and is in your comfort zone, and don't only play stuff that is really hard for you. I understand the people that say like, oh, I want to be like Whitecat, so I just have to like spam 10 stars, but that's not how Whitecat got to the point of being able to beat those 10 stars in the first place. So yeah, basically that's about it. So for the next one, we have one of the most important here in this video. Something that is really overlooked and that you should start applying as soon as possible. So in the mods we have different categories. For example, the ones that make our game harder, the ones that make our game easier in theory, the special mods and stuff. So we're gonna focus in no-fail this time. So why am I telling you to use no-fail? So basically, when you're trying to learn the game, when you're trying to push your limits and you kind of like know that this map you probably can't pass, you don't want to just retry the map like 1,000 times and fail in the same spot like 1,000,000 times as well. So from now on, every time you're gonna play a map, it's like kind of likely that you're gonna fail, or you just don't know this map in particular and you see the star rating might be a little bit too high. Or for example, if the HP is too high as well, just directly go with no-fail. The thing is, you're not gonna lose anything by going with no-fail. Unless you have like a specific goal to clear this particular map, there's no reason why you wouldn't go with no-fail. Because if you fail in the middle of the map, that's a play count that you lose, and it's extremely sad. Because it's not like you decide to fail, you're trying to do well, but the game is not letting you progress. So every time you're trying to improve, just put the no-fail on and like just play with it all day. If it does happen that you make like a good play that can give you PP with no-fail, and it doesn't even matter, because if you FC with no-fail, you won't lose any PP at all. It's the same as playing without it. So for now that you're learning, I just recommend you to always go with no-fail. If you have ever been to the gym before, you will know that the coach will tell you to do 15 reps, but if you just do the first 10 because you're lazy, your gains will not be as good, just because the first 10 is not what matters. What matters is the last 5, not the first 10. So if you do the first 10 and then you fail, it's kind of the playtime is going down the sink. Again, this doesn't directly relate to Osu, but it kind of does. Like, if you are waiting the whole map to get to the hard stream to be able to like play it and learn from it, and the moment the stream comes up you fail, it's kind of like very underwhelming, isn't it? Might as well just put no-fail in and try to play the map, and then you can improve based on accuracy. Like, for example, go to your profile and look how many hours you have. I'm pretty sure a lot of those hours are wasted just because you failed in the middle of the map. Now imagine all the times that you failed. If you never failed in any map that you played in your entire life, your value for improvement will have been way higher. So yeah, just play with no-fail. There's no reason to not do it. Just do it, please. You don't know the map? No-fail. The HP is too high? No-fail. The star rating is too high? No-fail. No-fail, 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 and no-fail. Okay, I will stop traumatizing you guys. But I think you understand it, right? I think you already understood how necessary this is. 14. Play more. Okay, no, this is actually a joke. You already know that I'm not serious with this one. But seriously, sometimes you really have to just play less. Take a break whenever you need to. Also, it's a game where it's very easy to burn out. So I really do think that natural breaks are the best breaks that you can take in Osu. I mean, for example, I don't know, you have a lot of schoolwork, you have like to go on vacations with your family, or like any natural break that happens, not because you specifically want to, but because it just happens in your life. Those are the best breaks for Osu, because it's not like you really want to take a break. It's like it happens that you have to take a break. But for me, for example, these natural breaks back then when I was tryharding Osu will be so good, because while I'm like in vacation, in another country or whatever with my family, all the time I'm thinking about Osu, how bad I want to play Osu. So when I finally get home, you already know, guys, you have felt this before. It's so satisfying. The game feels so fun. You're so motivated. You just keep playing for hours and hours and hours, keep seeing improvement, and makes you really happy. So yeah, natural breaks are the best breaks, but if you do not have like a lot of natural breaks because of how your life is being structured, or I don't know, whatever factor they might be, you can just take a break by yourself. And I think that having other games that you try hard apart from Osu is also a great way to gain motivation back in Osu. So this is a pattern that I really see often nowadays, where like the people that are extremely good at Osu, they are also like extremely good at other games, like for example Valorant. So I really do think that it's because they are in a cycle that is like, okay, I'm good at Osu, but right now I suck at Valorant because I'm into Osu right now. But then when I'm burned out of Osu, I go to Valorant and I'm god at Valorant. But it's kind of like you can't be 100% the best at both at the same time. So this is what happened to me in League. So I have been playing League since like forever. And I also like kind of like got this feeling as well, where like I couldn't be like extremely good at both games at the same time, but like one game served as a break for the other game. And when I come back, it's just I come back to try hard and like I'm very motivated to play. You have to think about this. Let's say that your brain works like a hard disk. So this hard disk starts getting fuller and fuller the more you try hard a game, and the more like you learn and the more like you improve. It comes to a point that you played so much that your hard disk is completely full. It's like there's no empty space. So now your brain cannot write more information inside that hard disk. In order to gain some space in your hard drive, what you have to do is just take a break. Just imagine what I'm saying. Also, as another analogy, imagine you're in like Minecraft trying to like mine gold. You don't really get the gold itself. You get the gold ore that later you have to smelt in order to get that actual gold. So if you just play more and more without breaks, it's the exact same thing as just mining a bunch of gold and then wondering why you can't do anything with that gold. Just give it some time until it smelts and you're actually able to use it. So what I'm saying is like sometimes you grind so much skill that you just have to take a break in order to let your brain learn everything that you're learning. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. It's like you need both of them in order to actually improve a lot. It's like you have to play more to be able to play less and see good results. But you also have to kind of like play less in order for the play more thing to make a better effect. So for the last one, we're gonna see one thing, but I also want to clarify something that I said before, and I don't want you guys to misunderstand it. Farm maps, I know what everyone says about farm maps, that you should like avoid them, that it's bad to play the 1-2 maps and stuff. Personally, I don't think they are bad to play. I think it's a really easy way to like acquire raw skill. So I wouldn't say like don't play them at all. What I don't want you guys to do is just to like retry spam to hell. Like there's a difference between retry spamming and retrying. For me, if I retry a map, is I play the map, I finish the play, and I play it again, another full try. Now, retry spam is like, as soon as I start playing the map, if I like shit miss in the beginning, or like if I get like a few hundreds, like I retry, that will be considered as retry spamming. So actually, I really recommend you guys to grab these 1-2 maps, and like the farm maps in general, and like retry them a lot. But I don't mean like retry spam, right? I think it's still good if you want to like retry spam a little bit, if you want to like push for a score. But again, as I said before about the toxic mindset, I don't want you to get used to that. I think like from time to time you can do it if you want to go for a score. But in general, you shouldn't be like scared of trying these maps because like, oh, it will make my skill worse. Not really. They're actually very beneficial in my opinion, and I want you to retry them, just not retry spamming them. And again, this is in a context where we already understand that this is not the only thing that we want to do. Of course, we can retry these maps like a million times if we want, but if also we are retrying other maps with different skill sets, with different variety, also a million times, you just always want to have that balance. But again, I want to specify this because I have seen it in a lot of places where they're like, no, avoid these maps are not good for you, they're gonna make you worse, blah blah blah. I don't think it's the case. So yeah, now going for the actual last thing that I want to tell you guys is don't focus too much on long-term goals. I know a lot of you guys look at Embrek or look at other people and say like, oh, I really want to be like him. And like you having your user page like, oh, be better than X, or like be top 50, or like be top 5. There's something that we have to understand, and it's that being a top player in Osu is extremely hard. And you're not gonna achieve it if you put 1 hour per day. If you play 1 hour per day, you're not gonna be a top player. That's the harsh truth. You have to play a lot. You have to put a lot of effort. You have to put the blood, sweat, and tears into this game, you know, in order to be able to achieve something like that. So for now, it's good to aspire to become like the greatest, but I think you have to work more towards short-term goals, as like 1 kpp, 2 kpp, 3 kpp, 4 kpp. This is usually how people that are really good like start. Of course, there's isolated cases where like their only goal was to be like the GOAT and like they achieved it. But in general, you have to go easy on yourself and go step by step, okay? Also, it's a very, very grindy game. I know that you can do it. I know that it's possible. But first, let's focus on those 5-star FC, 6-star FCs, 4-star FC, improving that accuracy, improving the maximum combo, getting a bunch of SSs, step by step, you know? You can start by, for example, maps that you can use for benchmarking, like maps that are really high difficulty for you. For example, 1 or 2 stars more than what you're used to. Play with no fail, get an accuracy in that map, and try to make that accuracy better. A little bit more every time. Even if you get like 0.1%, you know, that's an improvement. And I had to say something else about this. Only focus about your accuracy. Don't focus about the miscount. Don't get sad if you get a play where like you have more accuracy, but you have like more miscount as well. Like that doesn't matter. Listen to me. If the accuracy number goes up, there's no way that the miscount doesn't go down. I'm telling you. So again, we don't play for the combo. We don't play for the miscount. We only play about accuracy. And that's something that we can use for short-term goals. As like, for example, I got like 75% on high score. So the next time I play, if I get like 77, like I know I improved and I accomplished a short-term goal. And that makes you realize that you actually improved. So just keep it for short-term goals, at least for now. I can assure you that you'll feel really, really, really satisfied when you accomplish these short-term goals. At the end of the day, this is how humans work. Okay, so this is Shikke again, post-editing, and I want to say the very, very last thing, and it's that thinking about everything we talked about in this video, I can tell you one thing, and it's that every player is different. I don't know the person watching this video if you have been playing for 1 year, for 1 month, for 1 day. I don't really know each case individually, but in my opinion, that's why coaching in also exists in the first place. You might watch a video, you might watch like all the videos that there is, but if like they're not covering the specific problems that you're having with the game, then like it's not gonna give you a lot of value, or it can even make you be worse. For example, if I keep telling you to push yourself and benchmark scores and whatnot, but in reality all you're lacking is a fundamental practice, then those advices are kind of like just making you a worse player, kind of. But in general, I think this guide is pretty fast forward and is very, like, I'm very confident that it won't hurt your skill, consistency, or anything in general. I think it's like well-rounded for any Osu player out there. I'll say that if you're kind of advanced in the game already, like, these tips might not be for you as much. So yeah, that's the last thing that I wanted to tell you guys. I do coach in MetaFi, I coach Osu and League of Legends. I'm currently top 1% coach in MetaFi for Osu, so I'll be really happy to help you and address all the problems that we might have. But it's not completely necessary, and if you just have a quick question or you want to talk in DMs in Discord, you can just add me and we can talk about whatever you want. Alright guys, now we can go to the outro of the video. Thank you for listening to me. So alright guys, that was everything for this video. I hope you learned something. If you have any questions or something that you want to add to this video, you can leave it in the comments down below. There will be more videos coming up in the future as well, so I recommend subscribing for the next ones. And if you like this type of content, you can let me know by pressing the like button. Alright guys, thank you so much for listening to me, and goodbye.